Hello and welcome back to the MDL Changsha Major Cast. I am Chef Josh, joined today by Brian Slam Jamma himself and the lovely Lyrical. We are here to bring you the Vici Gaming vs. LGD series. Hopefully we'll get to see something exciting, maybe some more LAN M Tide as they seem to be running, but maybe they'll mix it up today. What do you guys think?
Didn't do so hot for them yesterday, but, you know, if it doesn't work the first time, might as well try again. That's been my philosophy throughout all of life.
Yeah?
It hasn't worked out for me so far, but if I keep trying...
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you're here, right? This is the pinnacle. This is where we're going.
If this is the pinnacle sitting next to you,
Yeah.
I've made it.
It's fair
Right
enough.
off the bat. This sets the tone for the cast today.
I'm excited, too. It's going to be a really good couple of series. Of course, the winner of this going on to face Vici Storm as well, the final boss. And it sort of sets up that, West versus East showdown that I think everybody loves. Like, even, the East, the West, everybody loves to have a little bit more on the line. Even though it's like each of these teams are individuals, each of these teams have their own play styles and their own people that are in it, there is still sort of that overarching theme.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say that, I went to TI4, and... it's like you don't take away from how good either team is, but there was like nobody watching those finals because it was just a Chinese versus Chinese team. And there is regional pride. And from NA region, we don't get these opportunities very often.
Exactly.
So
we don't like to talk about those like international, or sorry, not international, inside of NA type matchups when it comes to other sports and stuff. Like for example, we Philly fans don't exist when you're talking about NA.
Exactly.
We sort of ignore some of those things. But when it comes to, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If it's NA or China or whoever versus some entirely different region, the hometown crowd is gonna hold hands. They're gonna fight together, right? They're all gonna get hyped and they're gonna tune in.
Totally.
I think it makes it even more enjoyable to watch the Chinese team itself because, for me personally, I love watching. It's good Dodo. I'm excited for this next series, but there's different metas. There's different play styles in every region, and so when I see a team like VGJ Storm, who all of which are from NA, I get to every single one of them.
Not one.
These are players like we play against in pubs, and I get to. I get to experience their playstyle firsthand, so it's kind of like interesting to see how their playstyle and the way they want to basically like their ideal form of Dota matches up against these other regions. Because when we watch Chinese games, I think you said it the other day, like some of these games are just like unrecognizable to us because it's like a different meta, and it's really interesting, and you can learn a lot from it. But it's really cool to see your own meta match up against others and see how it pans out. So I'm definitely excited that we are guaranteed a West versus East situation. But I think both of these teams coming up, the LGD versus VG, they've kind of been a little hit or miss. LGD more hit or miss, or more miss during the group stage, and then Vici, they looked really off yesterday.
They did.
For whatever reason. I'm like, they're better than this. Jug's dying to Ancients. Like, Rezo's just outplaying them like crazy, and I think they're better than this, so I think this can go either way.
Yeah, I mean, Vici Gaming's been looking all right. They dropped the game to Newbie, they dropped the game to Mineski, but ultimately they won those series. And then they came in yesterday and just got stomped, and it was like very, like in the words of Kyle, it was clinical. It was very clean losses, clean wins for VGJ in those series, and it made you feel like they were underperforming or something was up with the team. It felt like you hear Vici Gaming before you go into this tournament and you're intimidated. That team, that's a big name. That's a team going to TI. They know what they're doing, and then they come in and they fall flat, and it feels weird. And then you see LGD, who have just been putting a clinic on, again, to use that word, because I can't think of another one, but they've just been executing every strategy that they have beautifully without any mistakes. And I feel like going into the series, I'm expecting to see a LGD win. I don't mean to, maybe this is a bold prediction, maybe this is too early to call it, but I really am expecting LGD to take the series.
I completely agree with you, and I think part of it, too, is you talk about momentum. Like, look at that lower bracket run that LGD has done the entire way through, starting in the best of ones and then making their way to here. And, again, part of that was because of, like people were talking about it, first of all, a very hard group in Group B. If you take a look at the top teams that are all here pretty much, 3 of them are the top 3 teams that are left, and they were all in Group B. And then on top of that, they were also a bunch of people that were saying that they were sick coming into this tournament, and now they've sort of found themselves. They've also found their form. I think that going into this, as weird as it might say, I'm almost feeling like they might be the favorites. I don't know if I'm willing to take them over Vici Storm, but I have a feeling that they're going to beat Vici here, and I have a feeling that series next is going to go the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, momentum cannot be underestimated as a factor that goes into these games, and I feel like watching yesterday when LGD won their last game against Newbie, that looked like a garbage Terrorblade game, and I think that what made LGD when they won with their previous success, I guess you could just say, because they've been doing well for a little while, is that Ame just picks his hero and says, I'm going to carry this game, and it's like a pretty limited hero pool, but he just does it so well, and it doesn't matter that the enemy team has a Zeus against your Terrorblade. It doesn't matter that maybe like you're down. They were down by like the Luna was 10,000 net worth ahead or something like that, and they just. You say like the other team messed up, and I think that's definitely something that happened, but these mess-ups or these mistakes are virtue of the fact that LGD makes you play flawlessly in order to beat their strategies.
They're ready and willing to capitalize on any mistakes you make. Like
exactly.
They're prepared for you to make the mistakes. Because, I mean, Dota nowadays is literally just waiting for a team to lose the game. It's no longer – I mean, you see these teams coming out, stepping up and winning games, but it's right. Rare that you see these dominant series that, don't have a few mistakes in between. And LGD is just prepared. They're ready for it. Ame has been playing incredibly well on any hero. Like you said, they had a series where he was getting every hero that he could pick banned out, and yet he still plays well. He still executes, and this guy is just ready and willing to play. He's hot. Give him the ball. Like, let's see what he can do. And I'm ready to see what he can do.
Totally. I can't agree with you more. And I think that on the other side of it, I don't think that Vici played their best Dota yesterday, like we've said multiple times. But I think part of that was also that they were running into a strategy where maybe they were a little bit too unwilling to waver. They gave away the Night Stalker and the Gyrocopter both games last time against Vici Storm. And when you allow a top team to play their game, they're probably going to feel very comfortable just running over it. And I'd like to see in this one Vici try and take away more of those Ame comfort picks possibly as another alternative thing. Maybe see if they can punish Chalice and see if they can mess with his hero pool. Like I want to see them try and take one person out of the game because there's enough heroes out there that if everybody gets a comfort pick, they're going to win.
That is very true. I mean, you see Vici Gaming had been performing. They'd been showing up with this IO, but they've been getting it banned out almost every series versus them. They don't even get the chance to pick this hero, and if it slips through, maybe I have a feeling they'll show up because that seems very high comfort for them. But I haven't seen it once in the past couple days here.
I'm curious to see the impact of a hero like Lycan in this series. I just think that we saw, was it the LGD newbie series that Lycan was every game? Yeah, it was the first 2 games, and then they actually ignored it the last 2 games. It was kind of aired the last game itself. I think it's just an interesting hero. Like these type of heroes that, as Kyle has said multiple times, basically they take your objectives, and these players, like you combine these objective takers with these players like FY that just create the plays and set up for you, that as long as you get the kills, you're just going to march down lanes. And the Death Prophet, the Lycan, these type of heroes have just like been such high favor. Yeah, DK, even Razor later on in the game with like the IO Ags. We've seen like Jakiro support, like from the VGJ Storm is kind of their take on it, where they just have it from the support role. But everyone just wants this ease of execution in terms of we win a fight, we got to be able to do something with it. And some of the most awkward games for these teams that feel like they're underperforming is when they don't have a clear-cut way to take their objectives. And I also liked yesterday with VGJ Storm where they targeted the heroes that were supposed to take these objectives. They pressured the Jug the first game, and then they pressured the Razor the second game, both times on Paparazzi. And I think Paparazzi is a big like momentum shifter for VG, and I think if LGD prioritizes him, Ame's more of like a farming carry. Like he's just going to hit neutrals and make sure that he's showing up to fights only when necessary. But Paparazzi's much more of a space maker, and I think that both teams should prioritize, like recognize that as the differences in playstyle of the carries.
I'm super excited. I put out a tweet the other day. I was like, which is the best carry in China? Is Ame or Paparazzi? And like, I don't know, these two players, they're out of their minds. And I think that the other thing that's so cool about this is they're both players that have been on Tier 2 Chinese teams leading up to this, and it's been a slow build for them over the years. Like, time after time, Paparazzi on IGV, I can't remember right now off the top of my head who Ame was on before that, but they were sort of rising through the ranks, and now it's the new guard that's in there, and they're the ones that are performing on the highest stage. So that's so cool for me, and I'm really I can't wait. Either team that wins, it's going to be a great storyline.
I agree, and like Brian was saying, Paparazzi, he's been known to be this flashy, in-your-face, pushing carry player that's making these moves and making these plays and taking these objectives. But he's been getting shut down recently. But if we have a series where he can get activated early on and he can play his game, I have a feeling that LGD will have something to deal with. And it'll become a really good series. I'm hoping that in these semifinals, both teams show up, both teams play their game, and we get to see some fun Dota 2.
Absolutely. No more Medusas, please.
I agree with that. No more Embers diving Medusas, at least.
That
game could have been a lot better had that first blood not been given away. It felt a little awkward.
These little swings in the laning stage can make a drastic difference, and it's usually comes down to the role of that hero in the game. Like, it was the Ember's job to be active that game, as well as the Jug. Both heroes died once in laning stage. Like, Embers was at like level 4, but that makes it so he can no longer pressure the Medusa. The Juggernaut died with Omni Slash, making it so he could no longer pressure, honestly, anywhere on the map. And then the second game, the Razor dying in his lane twice to the Rezo like level 4 Luna rotation, the standard level 4.
You were so excited about that.
I mean, those are the plays. Those are the game-winning plays. That's playing to win, baby. And I just think that's so cool because the thing about these players that's so impressive is if you put them in a standard game where it's like, go play your farm and carry, get your CS, chat and all these viewers, they love watching these guys have like 1,000 GPM like we saw Paparazzi on Luna have. I actually find that much less impressive than I find a level 4 Luna ditching his lane and ruining the enemy Razor's game by ganking him at level 4. And it's like, that's not something that is a part of this hero. And these players, there's no these unique scenarios, these situations where they just need to adjust on the fly. They're like, wow, this makes a lot of sense in this specific game that we would never do otherwise. And that level of adjustment is what makes these players
top tier.
Why they're there and why I'm here.
Okay. So he gets your seal of approval.
Yes.
All right.
Honestly, Rezo's been more I don't know if OG was just a bad fit for him. I don't know if OG's just struggling internally. It's one of those things that's almost impossible to tell from an outside perspective, but he's just been absorbed by this team, and I almost feel like he is their leading voice. Even though he's not their captain, it's like if I'm a core player, I think it's important that there's respect between each core player, and I'm not saying that that's something that a lot of teams don't have, but I feel like the NA region in general lacks trust, cohesion, all that kind of stuff that we've mentioned, and having this figure that you're just Resolution, world-class player. Yeah, he is the truth. We're going to build our entire strategies around him. Yawar and Snaking basically took a step down, and that's just exciting to see. But, obviously that's for our finals. I think that these Chinese teams, I think they're learning their lesson. For whatever reason, sometimes I feel like the Chinese region before TI will slip up a little bit, and they're like, wait a minute, okay, we got to just put our try-hard pants back on, and then that's how they always end up winning half of the TIs.
I mean, also, historically, you saw that, the NA teams were these aggro players, these guys that were in your face, controlling the pace of the game, ready to make plays, make moves, and force the enemy teams to react. And then you saw these Chinese teams, their meta was more of this farm heavy, have this hero that's going to eat the entire map, and when you are pushing in their face, they're going to sit back, they're going to take these interactions by choice, and then their one's ready, and they're going to roll right back into you with a carry much more farm than yours. Whereas this iteration, this meta, it seems to be that these Chinese teams, they're responding, they're taking these aggressive stances, they're making these plays, and they're coming at you early on in the game, ready to make these plays, like you were saying, with this Luna rotation. I mean, that was out of VGJ, but then we see this Vici Gaming, they're running these heroes like this Ember, this Doom, or this Razor, and these sort of big in-your-face, Ember not as much, but in-your-face heroes. And it's fun. They are adapting. They're ready. They're prepared. And it's exciting.
Yeah, the Chinese meta is definitely way more exciting nowadays than it used to be.
I also like to see the change-up that we've seen from Maybe, where before he was always on the sort of flashy heroes, but now he's realizing this team sometimes needs him on different things. Granted, we did see a Kunkka from him the other day, and that's been a staple for him for a while now. But the fact that he's also willing to change up his hero pool and take the more subdued role and let Ame be that one.
So here we go, Vici Gaming. I think they were the team that did this to LGD in the group stage, by the way. They just banned 6 Ame heroes.
The draft.
Yeah. And there's a first ban peel. I only point that out like as a message being sent right from the get-go is that's not a hero they're scared of necessarily being first rounded. Gyro, on the other hand, probably. But they're just saying, okay, prove to us that Ame can play something other than these heroes. We're going to ban his ideal heroes, and then we're probably going to preemptively counter whatever else is left, like between his like Terrorblades and heroes that aren't necessarily meta but are still his go-to. And I love this strategy. You said like just target somebody.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that I think Chalice is like a fine option as well, but I think Ame is just their entire team centers around him. As you said, maybe he's kind of taken on like the adjustment role, like the flex role, where he's willing to basically just fill in the gaps. And Ame pretty much does the same thing every game, but he does it obviously incredibly well. So that's just limiting LGD's options.
Well, and so the danger of this, obviously, that you could run into is that if they ban all of these heroes, maybe you still get one of the top tier, offlaners or something out of Chalice or whatever. But the other big issue is, if they happen to miss one, then you suddenly targeted all these bans onto one hero, and then he can pick up something that sort of fills the role, even if it's not perfect. The thing that I would think that they're maybe trying to bait LGD into is taking it first round and then just trying to super counter it out.
Yeah.
They did this in the group stage, and they actually 2-0'd LGD because he picked Chaos Knight the first game and then Troll in a not-so-perfect Troll game. And I think that it's not a matter of what hero Ame is forced to play. Like, even though it was not an ideal Terrorblade game he played yesterday, he still spent like the first 20 minutes of the game actually just metamorphing for creeps and then getting a pretty well-timed BKB. And so he still played his style, but in that CK Troll game we saw them lose in the group stage, Ame was not playing this hard farmer. I guess they're going to go back a little bit on because Clockwork's been so highly sought after in this region, but I still like the overall approach of saying, okay, we're going to limit Ame's hero pool, and we're going to make sure we don't want him to play this farm-heavy style because that's all he pretty much tries to do every game.
And again, if you're Vici Gaming coming out of that group stage match where you 2-0'd them, why would you change your strategy, right? I mean, you're going to stick with what you know. You're going to stick with these wins. It hasn't failed you yet. You have potentially 3 games here to play. This game 1, they're gonna go with this again and hope to force Ame into that uncomfortable position where his team can't play around this hero because he's not a hero that can sit back, farm, and win a game if he plays these CKs or these trolls.
Yeah, it's a very different style of play, and maybe then saying, all right, you have to beat us with something else. I don't think that they were there's something here in what LGD banned, because you look at how much reserve time Vici went through there. I don't think that they were either expecting the Night Stalker or the IO ban, but now they're going to take out the Bane, and first pick overall, Warlock for Vici.
They've been doing this a lot.
I like that a lot. They've been picking it with the Naga or with the Night Stalker, which is sadly banned out here, but they've been picking at these strong support duos because Warlock can just sit behind this carry hero, heal him up in lane, and allow him to farm away.
And superior team fight makes your game plan always easier to execute. There's a lot of popular heroes that synergize really well with the Fatal Bonds, just that AoE damage. We've seen Gyros, we've seen even like heroes like Venomancer a bit, and like I just think that securing your safe lane is so important, and I like that LGD is just going to respond with a tried and true objective taker that can lane anywhere.
Now, usually they would pair this DP with a Clock or a Bane, both of which are banned out now. What do you expect to come out here?
I wouldn't even mind something like a Tusk, just some save. Okay, Naga, that's effectively a save. Just something to reset the fight or take fights on your own terms.
It's also a respect, or not a respect, but a sort of a counter pick, since, like you were saying, that's something Vici like to run themselves with the Warlock. And now they've got pretty strong lanes from LGD, I would say. If they wanted to, you can take yourselves another position, either off-laner here, or if they wanted to run Chalice on the Naga Siren too, then you could just take another 4 that can try and punish this.
Are we getting a Tide Hunter here?
Warlock.
There's a Tide Hunter. 4-position Tide. You can't possibly lose a single Tide team fight.
That has not been working out for him very much, man. He's what, 2 for 5?
It just seems to be their play style. I'm not saying Tide's necessarily the pick, but I think they're just gonna. They seem to heavily invest in team fight or objective take in the first 2 picks. Like both these teams kind of do that, and as you see, it pretty much sticking to that game plan for both of them. And they go Luna, which is fine. That's still team fight. That's pretty nuts. The Glaives actually synergizes decently with the Fatal Bonds, but Luna's a hero that your main concern is the laning stage, and I think that they know that the Luna's problem is she's a strong laner, but if she gets ganked or pressured highly early, then she can't have the space that she needs to farm. So Luna usually flourishes against non-ganking offlaners, these things that just want to push the lane, because that's where Luna can respond with just being survivable with her high movement speed. She's like one of the fastest heroes in the game. And so I like the Disruptor band to synergize with the Naga, but the Luna is a hero that they know that Chalice has been, the last like 5 games we've watched, has been Lycan or DP, I think. Like, he's just been a pushing hero every game, like off-lane Lycan, and that's something that Luna is quite good against, that whole style. Like, you don't want to be against like Bat Riders and heroes that like Centaur are just an example of heroes that get up in your face, because that's where Luna, she won't have the space she needs to farm, and the Warlock deters that even more. And they banned the Kunkka, thank God.
Not trying to see a game turn tides. No pun
What are you
intended,
talking
just
about?
because of
It's
that
great.
Kunkka.
I've seen
love
enough
Kunkka.
one-shots for one tournament.
I want to see more of them. That's the best.
It is pretty entertaining to see a carry that's been farming all game and just bleep.
Gone. Just
Gone.
deleted.
See ya.
So yeah, I like the Disruptor ban, like you were saying. I think that there still are some combos they need to be a little bit worried about here, because
Jakiro, I think, is... Oh, no, they go for the Oracle.
that's a good ban.
Oracle ban. I like that.
It does leave open like another team fight heavy hero if they wanted to take it, like you're talking about the Jakiro there, or something else like that. But I think that Death Prophet Oracle is proven just to be too strong.
Yeah, we could go like... They could either go the offensive route for the laning stage, a hero like Ancient Apparition on LGD, which will set up their team fights really nicely, and the Naga AA combo is always nice because the one hero supplies the damage, the other supplies the lockdown, but there's also the option of a hero like Jakiro that it's a follow-up to Song, gives them a little bit more objective taking. I think that will be one of their 2 choices in this next pick.
It's a DK ban. I do like that.
Please, just one time. I have to assume they picked the 5 here.
There it
Jakiro,
is.
there it is.
Feels
Nice
good,
predict. That is
man.
1 for 1 thus far.
We're off on a good start here on finals day. You take a
Okay,
little time to warm
I'm gonna
up.
go ahead and I'm gonna take a power nap. So for
believe-
the rest of this draft, 100%, not gonna
believe-
go anywhere better from here.
You're in the grand finals as well, if I'm not mistaken. So you know, started off
spoilers.
hot here. Maybe you can run it over.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So in response to Jakiro, you just need some sort of lane shove, I think, in the 4 position for Vici, or a hero that plants themselves in front of towers.
Sand King is still open.
I mean,
I like
again,
Sand King.
this tide still exists. I don't know if they
Oh, yeah.
want to do that at all, but
I really like Sand King a lot better than Tide.
I do as well. I'm kind of a Tide hater. I think that QE build, while effective, it does a lot of damage. You can control these lanes. It's just seems to be underwhelming recently.
Well, Jakiro's a support that shoves waves and pressures towers, so I think a great way to deal with it is another support that also does that, which, okay,
Oh,
there you go.
T.
I like that. I like that.
That's sick.
Because you don't want to have to send a core to stop this Jakiro from pushing lanes. So the ET is effective, is one of the most common supports in the past, who just, his job in the early to mid game is to get levels by sitting under a tower and sending a spirit as like a defense mechanism. Like, you just can't really dive an ET all that easily, because not only is he sitting back really far, but he also has the turn potential with his long stomp for TPs. I love the Bat Rider. That's exactly the type of hero Luna does not want to deal with. They don't have any save. They've already established both supports on Vici Gaming, and I want to see an Abaddon or a Legion right now.
So the other thing that ET gives you is that Roche contesting a little bit. Like, Naga Siren gives you that like sort of one-up that you would normally have, and Death Prophet means you're going to be able to secure it and actually take it. But now they can kind of send in that spirit and go for a stomp to try and break up a Roche if it's coming through.
Abaddon or Legion, please.
Vici Gaming has been running this LC with these DPs or these a Veno or a Tide or these other sort of frontlining heroes, but I have a feeling they're going to pull it out right here.
There it is.
Nice predict. 2 for 2.
Woo!
Well done, sir.
Yeah, they just it's unplayable for Luna. If you look at team fights, it's hard to explain. But from a carry role, if you can't remove Sticky and it's your job to like be active this game on a Luna, like, she just can't participate ever if she doesn't have a way to remove Sticky Napalm. So they needed to pick an offlaner, since they've already revealed both supports. They needed to pick an offlaner that can remove Sticky from not only themselves but also their teammates. So Abaddon and Legion are the only 2 heroes that fit that description. Legion is much more initiation, while Abaddon is more counter initiation. So I guess they chose the Legion because they didn't really have a way to start fights.
It's also really solid for like when you're going to try and push high ground, just press the attack on the Luna. You burn through towers so quickly.
Any type of steroid on that hero is terrifying if you get a base race. Or
I guess
something
you're
with
probably
it.
going to want to hold on to it for Bat Rider just in case. That might be something to worry
There's the
about.
Ember ban out from LGD. It looks like Vici Gaming is going to have to pick their mid hero up here last, 5th pick, into what they see right now. I was thinking the Ember would be pretty good, but that's what they ran with this LC in the past. But what do you think is going to come out from them?
They just need an independent hero. They're going to run around as 4 with these
Like
these
a
4
Venom or
heroes.
something along those lines?
No, I think Ember fits the bill better. Like, so obviously he's banned, but I'm saying like a hero that something like a Queen of Pain, the hero that's simply self-sufficient. They don't need to help it because Luna is going to require a lot of attention to get the start she needs. And when Luna's farming, you're going to need a hero that can survivably run around doing stuff. And so I think it's really important that a lot of teams have realized this balance of activity as well as farming is very important. And I assume they're going to pick something like that's like a not a puck because they have a DP silence.
They could go like something. It's greedy, but they could go for like a Tinker maybe to try and keep those lanes shoved out. I think that the Bat Rider is a little concerned there.
Yeah, I think I really like Queen of Pain. That's going to be my assumption. I don't know if they actually play it a lot, but I think that fits exactly what they need. Oh, Puck! I said Puck, but I said they wouldn't pick it.
You gotta believe in yourself.
You
Well,
did say it though, so I'm gonna give him 3 for 3.
You did hear it. You know, 2.5 out of 3. I didn't think they'd pick the Puck because of the DP silence, but it is the type of hero they needed. They needed a hero that just needs no help to be survivable in the mid game. Because Legion, albeit can remove sticky napalm, you can't remove it from everybody. So they already delegated the Legion to helping this Luna. So if you picked another hero that couldn't deal with sticky napalm and just dies by getting ran at, suddenly you're being spread too thin, resources, you can't actually play the map.
There's the
And
Monkey
that's the
King
Ame hero.
pick from LGD.
I don't think they've had too much success with this hero. I'm not a huge fan of Monkey King myself, especially against heroes like Puck that have instant damage,
And
meaning
ET.
like yeah.
ET Puck. That's
Yeah.
scary.
He's
going to get scouted out in these trees. I'm a little worried for that. I feel like he can't play this sort of stay in the back and come in, stun, deal his damage, drop his ulti. He can't really play that into this VG Gaming lineup.
I am ready. We've seen it before, and just for the memes, I am ready for Chalice to accidentally stun Ame out of the trees one time this game and have it backfire. I just think it's funny whenever you have, like,
Timbersaw, Monkey King.
yeah, Timbersaw, Monkey King, Bat Rider, Monkey King. Even Jakiro destroys trees with his ultimate. But I just think Monkey King's a hero we don't see very often, for a good reason.
I'll just say that if X Nova breaks the Monkey King's trees with his ultimate, there's some serious problems going on with LGD.
Okay, so the one comment I want to make, this game is very lane. Like, the lanes are incredibly important. Legion gets absolutely demolished by Monkey King, but Luna also matches up very poorly against Bat Rider, so they're going to almost certainly try to aggro this Monkey King with the Luna, with the VG Gaming, while the Legion's going to try to match up against Bat. So we may see some musical chairs out the wazoo again this game, something we've been seeing a lot of these games, because you just see in this meta, it's very heavy, it's very popular to just counterpick. So suddenly you end up with a hero like Legion, who is completely dumpstered by Monkey King, but completely dumpsters Bat Rider in return. And we see smoke up from, is that both teams or just VG at the start? And I think that's super important. Both teams realize they need to know what's going on. They need these proper lane matchups. The mid lane's expected, like it's going to be Puck versus DP, but I can't emphasize enough how important these lane matchups are, and both these teams know as well. And so far we see that the Legion is bottom against the Monkey King, but we're going to see some swaps, almost certainly.
It's a bit of harass coming out from
I call VG Gaming's lineup, by the way.
What'd you say?
I think VG Gaming's lineup is better.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. I feel like this Monkey King was a bit of an awkward pick. I don't think he's the answer to the questions that VGJ posed. I feel like the ET is going to be very effective in this game, and I feel like Luna's going to have a free farm with this Warlock sort of sitting behind him, allowing him to stay high health and hit away at these creeps.
Lyrical?
I'm sort of ambivalent about it. I think that LGD is playing better right now, and by virtue of that, I'm gonna say that their draft isn't so bad that it makes up for what I saw yesterday from Vici. So that will be my way of saying I think LGD's got this one.
Okay, they definitely have some crazy follow up to the Naga Sleep. I think they're going to win fights virtue of Naga Sleep setup rather than the Bat Rider Lasso initiation, because the Vici has the immediate counterplay from the Legion. The press the attack, for all the, just to clarify, does remove Lasso. So that's something where that counterplay is immediately there, and they picked it with that intent. They responded to the Bat Rider with this Legion pick immediately, so they know that 11's job this game is in the mid game and onward. Once this Bat Rider has a blink, sit behind the most aggressive core and make sure to protect them. And so they are aggroing. Look at the lane swaps already coming out from VG. Monkey King is a courier, so he's super fast. 380 move speed. He can run all the way from bottom lane to top quite fast. And we're going to see he's actually going to be running top, and they mind game them by running the Legion back bottom because they saw Monkey King running to the left. So this is
Luna
just the beginning
Warlock
of this.
versus Monkey King Jakiro, and then like you were talking about, yeah, the Legion against the Naga right now. Where's that Bat Rider at? He's running bottom. Yeah, that's a tough one.
They're going to notice this. Legion's actually hiding. I love this. He's hiding until the very last moment bottom. He's like, we're going to wait till the very last second to show where we are.
And
now Bat Rider's
going
running.
back up.
Yep.
Oh, Chalice.
The dream.
Oh, now he doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know what he's doing. Chalice is confused. Maybe FY is the core
Monkey
now.
King TP'd bottom. In this case, you can just respond by TPing. Like, ET's already here. Legion can stay for maybe one more creep and then just get out of here. Yep, he's gone. Luna's going to TP bottom any second now. Yep, there he goes. And Fenrir immediately comes as well. I love that the ET started bottom. It's because if they started both supports in one lane, then suddenly they'd be TPing 3 heroes around to follow this Monkey King. But they knew that the Monkey King would show up eventually in one lane. If it was top, then the Warlock would go there. And if it was bottom, the ET would go there.
Well, they did just use press the attack, and he is going to have it up in another 7 seconds. But they can maybe do some damage to him here with right clicks and maybe another dual breath. Pushing 11 back a bit. Nothing really to be done there, though.
And this is why I don't like Monkey King all that much, but it's still a good hero to follow up the Naga sleep, so it's just a matter of making sure Ame gets a remotely decent start in a game like this. But this is quite a scary tri-lane. Warlock ET, very strong supports. Luna, that aura, buffing up all the damage.
So it's pretty terrifying. Monkey King does have this 4 armor right now. He has the armor ring, which he picked up, knowing that he's probably going to get right-clicked in this lane.
No salve.
But with the tri-lane that he's up against, with this ET, with these massive right-clicks, it's a little scary.
You can't kill this guy. As they say that, they're probably going to kill this guy.
He's going to do some damage to him. Firefly's still got a little bit of extra duration left, and looks like with it wearing off, press the attack. He has the mana for it afterwards. Is he baiting them into a bad position? Press the attack, still chasing forward for this one. 11, very low, turns it back around. Overwhelming odds, almost out of there, but a dual breath, a right click, 11. One charges again, he's living, and now they bring in Lanham as well. Doesn't quite get the stomp on X-Nova, and they get out.
That relieves a lot of pressure from bottom, though.
He's going in again.
He has pressed the attack.
Right back in. 5 stacks up on 11.
Oh, he salved him.
Salve up.
That was the Lanham salve. I think the ZT should try to run bottom at the earliest convenience. Ame's already been pushed out, actually. He's already TP top. Are they going to oh, no, he walked top. I think that's super important because if he TP top, they can just follow him. And I think VG might just be content with these lane matchups now. This Legion has a good start, already a level ahead of the Monkey King, which does not favor Monkey King all that well anymore, especially with the ET here.
3 minutes in so far, and we've seen some lane swaps. And meanwhile, mid lane, we haven't talked about a ton. Very even matchup. I guess kill potential only if somebody rotates in.
And that's never happening because of the side lane dynamics going on. I think both these heroes are just going to get what they get. Puck's going to look to possibly early rotate with that coil. I don't think they're going to gank the DP. I think Monkey King or Bat Rider are perfectly good options just based on what's happening leading up to it.
Paparazzi is having the time of his life down in this bot lane. It seems that Vici Gaming has won this initial sort of lane swapping, and he's just farming away. He's not even getting harassed enough to require these heals out of Warlock, so Warlock is able to just do as he pleases.
Yeah, both of the cores on Vici are over-leveled compared to the opponent core in their side lane, so even though these matchups aren't exactly ideal, it's actually not worth at this point to keep chasing them around for the favorable matchups. You've already established this lead, and that's good enough.
Okay, well, just as we say that it doesn't happen, they dive, and Somnus able to get the kill. The rotation in from ET, not going to hit the stomping.
I didn't see it, but that simply should not happen.
Puck died behind the tier 1 of
himself.
Yeah,
that simply shouldn't happen. I don't know how that, you know.
You know, I get it into my head, there's nothing going to happen here, and then suddenly it happens. Meanwhile, up top, speaking of things happening, 11 in some trouble, needs a couple more hits, but not going to get it.
And that's the benefit of him being a level above the Monkey King. If he was equal or lower level, he's going to die there, and then suddenly this Monkey King's game's really good. But either way, Ame's much happier with this lane setup than he was with the original one.
There's another dual breath out on 11, though. He's in a bit of trouble. He just
Removes
the
it.
attacks that right off of himself, and he's perfectly fine.
Oh, bottom lane, the stomp connected there onto Chalice. Now they're trying to kite away from the ET. Fatal bonds onto several. It's a good bit of damage onto Chalice, but it looks like he should be okay through it all.
He has a shrine as well.
And Steel and Bounty Runes also. Fenrir able to pick that one up.
There's 3 bounty runes on the side of VG. Feeling good about that.
Also wanted to mention the levels you're talking about. You can see that now DP is 1 level up on the puck, and I don't know if that's really going to make all that much of a difference, since Exorcism, I guess, can be used if they force Ori out of lane, but
It's going to make a lot of difference just simply because these side lanes have been so contested. These mid laners will have the most impact out of any hero in the game coming in the next 5-10 minutes. So as long as they can capitalize on this early lead, like you said, it's right now it's a little awkward, but they might turn here with a coil.
Maybe he's getting pinged out mid.
trying to make it happen. Ori down low, turns it back around with the orb. Damage on Somnus. He does have another Crypt Swarm, but dies. The rotation in is enough, and Ori going to be able to walk away from that one alive as well.
I love this rotation from Vici. They know that since Ori died to the Death Prophet by himself, they know that if they let the Death Prophet just solo him, it's going to get worse and worse. And they say if you ever pose aggressive onto our puck, we're going to be here. And that's such an awesome offlane rotation from 11. Level 4.
So much damage coming out from that overwhelming odds there. It was more than enough to finish him off.
Yeah, and the press the attack made it so Puck could turn that immediately, not only because she was no longer silenced, but also because she removed all of the damage from Dual Breath. So she was basically no fear of death on the Puck, or
Chalice.
he, or it.
Nice. Well done.
Just making sure I cover my bases there.
I'm with you. A Stomp maybe going to be thrown out here onto Chalice, but he's playing it fairly safe and still getting a lot.
Ame is getting left up here in this top lane. He's farming away. He's making it up on this last hit chart. He seems to be pretty happy right now. 30 and 18. He's almost on his way to treads.
Rotated
He's
Luna
got his
top.
Aquila up.
He's actually only level 4 now.
Well, they realize that this could be a problem. They need to rotate in and try and take him down. 14 stick charges, but they're not going to go for it. And another kill onto Ori. They popped the Exorcism for this one. The rotation's in from LGD. They dodge away from the Stomp.
He did use Coil trying to survive there, but it did not pay off for him. So there's another 60 seconds without that up. Seems like LGD are starting to get into a more comfortable spot in this game.
Ame has no regen, and he's bottom lane. Ame has no regen, and he's bottom lane, so it doesn't really feel very good for him. He can't be aggressive if he's half health, but I guess if he gets his lifesteal proc.
Oh God, they come in with FY as well, and they make it happen.
I don't know why he did that. Obviously it looks that way obviously after the fight's over, but he just needs to wait for a teammate to show up, and Ame can't occupy this lane at all. Looks like he's probably going the Battle Fury build based on his skill build.
Are they going on Ori again too? If they can, ooh, that net would have came out in time.
Only level 1 stun on Monkey King, so it's quite hard to follow up. He can probably phase shift the net reliably. I like that they just put the ET mid, though. They can't deal with this Death Prophet anymore. Just move the puck away. ET's job, as I mentioned in the draft, is just to defend towers safely. He's not going to make any plays, but he's just not going to let them get an objective in whatever lane he's in.
DP's starting to get pretty beefy. He's got this double null. Looks like he's picking up treads into Yules here. So he's going to be just sort of frontlining, taking these damage and staring at Vici Gaming, menacingly hoping for the best.
Only level 5 Luna.
God, Paparazzi dropping very low. Somnus able to dodge away again, and with Spirit Siphon, the right clicks coming through. They kill off Luna.
Level 3 Spirit Siphon, chewing away at that Luna. That's a whole lot of damage.
I love how he's playing on maybe.
Is Lanham dead too?
No lasso.
He's out of there. Okay.
This aggression is super important against Luna. I mentioned it, this is what Luna does not want to be dealing with, and this is virtue of that solo kill in the mid lane. Puck can't counterplay the DP because DP is out leveling, out farming him, and they just need to be careful of letting the snowball. 11 does have duel, so we may be looking to see a play around that, but until they have at least Eclipse, I don't think they can really burst down anybody that gets dueled.
Ame sitting bot, hopping through the trees here. He's going to go in, clear this wave. Doesn't seem like Puck can really threaten him all too much while he's just hiding. He's going to TP away. He's going back base, going to heal up.
And this is kind of what we were talking about during the draft. Vici's draft looks so good on paper if everything goes the way that it's supposed to, but that one solo kill on Puck, it just ends up changing the whole dynamic. Then people have to rotate in and help him out, and it's it's a slow snowball, as you say, of things falling apart a little bit.
And that's why Luna's level 5.
Yeah.
Because the supports had to leave her alone, so Luna's the hero that required attention. They did not want to help this Puck. They had to do it, though, because of that death. And now it's, like you said, just throwing a little wrench in their game plan, but they're still able, like, it's still a close game, but now it not only did it do that for Luna, but it also gave Monkey King higher levels, like more, he's been able to be more independent because Vici had to put more attention on other lanes. And now he's going to be farming up quite fast with that maxed Primal Spring, and he's going for the Battle Fury.
Oh, and LGD, they're going to be able to secure themselves more runes as well. Fenrir is able to get one of them, but now the Eclipse coming out as well, taking down X-Nova. Not bad, but can they find any more? The long route, the coil is there to try and interrupt it, but with Somnus in the area doing all this damage, that's going to be 2 dead as well as they try and chase down Ori. He doesn't have his orb. He does have a phase shift, but still going to die, and with the Exorcism out, this is a big problem for Vici Gaming.
He's just too powerful. They can't stop him.
This one is going to be much more favorable for LGD. He does have this Exorcism out, and he's just going to probably take this tier 1 now that he's got no contention.
Now they'll probably be able to defend this, I think, because the creep wave's not there yet. But this is so much space.
God. Yeah, like look at the rest of the map. They're doing whatever the heck they want, and like they're hiding behind the towers here. They do need to be careful of rotations coming in. Puck has a TP in 29, I guess. It's a little far away, and Levin getting the heal thrown on him. The Spirit Siphon high level, then going to drop another kill from them, just sort of standing around.
Is in trouble now. He has Chalice diving him under tower.
Okay, now this is a tower because they're just dying after the fact. And this is only 3 heroes from LGD being committed for this entire process. And
Ame is still just farming away bot lane.
And Jakiro's pressuring mid. That's a support taking your tower. The ET wants to be counterplaying this Jakiro, but instead he's forced to deal with top, and since they have no Eclipse, they don't really have like a counterplay. And the only thing that stops you from being aggressive is fear that they'll just counterplay you. And with no Eclipse, they didn't have Golem yet until now, and they just are not afraid of anything on LGD, especially on the Death Prophet. And I love that he's just asserting his dominance.
Yeah. Just standing in that lane.
Strong hero on the map. I like this double null into treads. He really and the wand in his inventory as well. He knew that he was just going to be this big fat hero that could walk at Vici Gaming, and they wouldn't have the damage, especially with this Luna shut down and Puck having a hard time middle.
I was told that 50 damage is pretty good at
50,
level 10.
That's 51 would be slightly better.
Yeah,
that's true. You can't argue with that.
I can't. I mean, that's probably the most valid point you've made this entire time.
Fenrir, smoke is going to break. They spot this out. And they realize there's a ward in the area. Hey, let's get out of here. We don't want to be here anymore. FY, gonna pop the song. Catches on to 2.
Ice Path follow-up. It's 3 points Ice Path.
This is big. They're going to get them all caught out. And the big combination coming out as well to press the attack to try and save Ori's life. They're going to be able to get him out of there.
11 does have duel, but he's too scared to throw it out. If he puts a duel out, that's just going to be free damage for Ame or maybe.
They have Eclipse, but this is a Brown Boots Mask Man as Luna. He is not prepared to fight.
Ori getting caught in the trees there. I don't even know how he ended up in that position.
He must have jaunted aggressively, but now the Eclipse to try and turn zone with the duel on top of it. Can they bring on the DP? They do. Can they find any more, though, with LGD Ame? He has been left alone and is going to be able to find a couple, although he dies also.
What?
So Lanham doing all the damage in the world, and they're going to get the lift up onto him, but Warlock has come back in as well. LGD throwing away this lead that they had for so long as they lose 3 heroes.
Vici Gaming is absolutely ecstatic with this trade. That is a whole lot of gold in their pockets, and all of a sudden their cores are going to be able to rotate out of here. LC feeling good about that, got the dual damage up, and she's only about 200 gold away from this blink.
Yeah, I mean, bringing down the Death Prophet is the most important thing, not because of the gold necessarily that you get from it, but just get out of my face is pretty much what they're thinking right now. And 1 or 2 more kills, and suddenly that becomes a reality where this DP can't continue to play like this, especially now that they have the blink on Legion. This Luna just wants to hit creeps, and he has the Mask of Madness, now treads going into Yasha. Most importantly, it's not the kills, the gold you get from the kills, it's the map control, and this Monkey King already has a Demon Edge towards his Battle Fury, and Luna might be in trouble here.
They go right back at her, and
the Night Vision.
That's good. Paparazzi gets out of there.
It was a smart move by LGD. They know exactly that after that exchange, Luna's going to try to get back into this game. That's sort of the hero that Vici Gaming is relying on right now. So to make that move, that smoke through their jungle and try to force her out into a position she doesn't want to be, it's valuable.
It's a little small thing, but from Paparazzi on the Luna here, if you are farming that camp, he knows that if he's going to get ganked, it's from the left, and so he's actually dragging the creeps up and to the right while he was farming, and he would have died if he was farming it from any other direction. Seems like such a small little detail, but it's just a little positioning thing that shows you that these carries are always thinking about how am I going to die, where is it going to come from, what's it going to look like, and when that matter of inches makes the difference, like if he dies there, this game looks incredibly grim. So just a small thing I like to point out whenever I see it because it's always impressive.
And now they're getting their vision down in a way where they can farm out the opponent's jungle as well, since they know that that's what's going to need to happen. And FY, the song comes out with a little bit of some invis help, and they have found 2. Ori going to be the first one to decide to go on, but the press attack can be there from 11 to try and save his life. He gets the orb out and the phase shift out of there as well. With the eclipse, or excuse me, the exorcism coming out, they might be able to bring down Somnus if he's not careful, and oh, they thought about that eclipse. But the press the attack just proving so useful, even though 11 is going to die.
He just died to Ghost immediately.
Lanham also going to go forward for more. They get the Monkey King ulti onto him to turn it onto Ori. He is down very low, and with the dual breath on him, no press the attack to take it off this time, and the Monkey King jumps forward, finishes it off. The Eclipse not doing enough damage. Can they kill off this DP in time? The turnaround is going to be there with the Spirit Siphon, and 5 dead.
Absolutely incredible. Lanham got a great stomp into Earth Splitter combo there, but it just was not enough. His teammate, the LC got shut down. He got slept off to the side at the beginning of that fight. He just did not put out enough damage.
11 just ran in and died on the Legion. Yeah. Honestly, like, they needed to play that a bit more patiently on the side of Vici because the Warlock Golem was coming off cooldown. It's now off cooldown, but they need when you're down like this, you need every little thing or big thing in terms of the Golem that you can possibly muster in order to win these fights. And LGD is just stronger at this stage in the game. So if you don't have every single ability, you can't really take fight. They did turn it really well. The Legion got the press the attack off before he got lassoed. And Somnus might be in trouble here. They have Blink on Legion to chase after him.
You're going to get the silence. Well done.
He can get him here if he chooses for the duel.
So scary. Xnova even TP's in with like no HP or mana, just knowing he needs to make sure that DP stays alive.
And Ame just gets his Battle Fury up right now. He's starting to become more and more terrifying. Once he's able to get these fighting items and not just prioritize his own farm, he's going to be a huge threat in the side of LGD.
Another smoke. Vici looking mid. FY is going to be who they run into, and I mean, they saw him in the creep wave there. That was very strange. Well, the other thing to mention is so far, no objectives have been taken by Vici Gaming. All of the Tier 1 towers are still standing. And while LGD haven't taken full advantage yet, only taking 2 of the Tier 1s, it's still that little bit of advantage in map control that they're getting from it.
This is something we've seen time and time again. We saw yesterday on the Razor from Paparazzi. The hero that's supposed to be active at this stage in the game, and this one being Puck, if they get off to that rough start, this is what objectives look like for your team. You don't have a hero that's going to play aggressively on the map. Luna cannot be that hero for you at this stage in the game. It was a first round Luna. They have heroes to shut down early pushes. Legion's not a pushing hero either. And Puck's not necessarily a pushing hero, but if she's like postured aggressively on the map, then naturally you're going to get towers. But since Puck had such a rough start, suddenly now you have no towers.
Not able to just rock down these lanes, queuing and W'ing them, pushing creep waves into the enemy towers.
And you also have to help the Puck, so that means Luna's even less impactful. It's just such a snowball effect from one lane. And we mentioned the mid lane was probably just going to be a trade, but these little solo kills don't seem so little when you see the impact 13 minutes later into the game.
Here's smoke coming out from LGD mid lane. Looks like they're just going to stand behind Ame here, maybe push this in, look for somebody up on this high ground. They know Luna's going to be farming, but Luna makes a read, TP's out, goes bottom.
Good recognition, and they also do have the Blink Dagger on Puck right now, who is not with the rest of his team. He does have a TP.
I don't think they can fight up into this on LGD. I don't think they can walk up this high ground.
This is a very bold move for them, and last time that led to them losing the fight spectacularly.
They're baiting really well.
All right, the turnaround. They do have the pressy attack. Take it off there from Luna. They're going to be able to find the turn with the duel, and now the sleep to try and turn this one. Can they make this work? It's a big combo coming through. If they can make it happen, the Macropyre, the Ice Path on at 3. The full combination is out, and LGD stomping on the face of Vici.
Absolutely incredible. Warlock got this Golem down, but Song came out a split second later, and Vici Gaming couldn't do anything off the back of that.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't think they can fight into their team fight, but they waste the Golem effectively, and they were grouped up for a 3-man Ice Path. Really important that they picked the Jakiro in the draft just to follow up the Naga. It's not enough to have the Naga sleep to reset fights. You need some way to capitalize on it. And, you know, as I said, they couldn't possibly fight into the high ground, so that means LGD is going to win the fight.
Monkey King ulti, just about one of the best ultimates to have after a Naga song.
Yeah, the fact that he has not such a crap start after those laning stage swaps means that he's suddenly outputting a ton of damage. And once he gets like Echo Saber, that's so scary. This Luna cannot deal with this.
Well, they do get one pick off to the side with the Chalice Blink, and it's what they need to do. They need to find these pickoffs because I think it's proven now that it is very hard to take the fight.
Definitely one of the least valuable heroes to catch, but it's obviously still good.
Bit of trouble. He's going to get eclipsed, and he is down. Paparazzi's going to pick up this haste rune that he was hoping to get away, but was a little too slow.
Yeah, you just need to accelerate on Luna. Don't mind blowing your ult for one support kill. If they can get this tier 1 off this kill, super important for any carry that's trying to maximize their efficiency at this stage, that you have the enemy jungle available to you, and that's only available if you get this tier 1. And that's one of the struggles of not having any towers at 20 minutes in the game. This Luna is stuck farming this triangle Ancients, which not only makes it so she gets limited farm, but also means the enemy team knows exactly where you are at all times.
So 6,000 net worth lead now, and looking at FY has that Spirit Vessel done with 8 charges on it. It's not often you see that many, right?
Very rare.
Wow.
He is a beefy Naga right now. He's got 1,400 health. You see 11 up here standing with Ori. They're sort of looking at him thinking probably, can I duel this guy? Can we get this pick? But I just don't think they have the damage between the two of them now that he has this Spirit Vessel and this hood.
They still don't get the tier 1 bottom though. On the side of Vici, they really need that tower.
Really need a lot of things right now, Brian. It's looking rough.
Can't one of my drafts I picked just win, please?
I don't think so.
We shall see.
You guys all know the trend.
You did say LGD, so you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly, I remember that too.
Yeah, Vici Gaming again. They're with this Puck, this Luna, and this LC. They want this map control. They want to be able to catch vision of LGD and get these picks that they desperately need to win these fights. But they just have no towers, like you said. They can't take control of this jungle. They're just in an awkward position where they have to respond to everything LGD does.
They just have to hope LGD oversteps their boundaries. They have a BKB on Death Prophet. That hero is not dying if he gets that BKB off.
Oh, and now they're going to show mid as well. And you do have everybody smoked nearby the Roche pit. They've popped the exorcism for this. The orb is going to spot them out. But with sleep there, they're going to send in the Earth Spirit.
They might be able to stall this.
Elder Titan, rather.
Chalice is aggressively positioned. He fireflies up. He's looking for this Blink Lasso, hoping to catch Vici Gaming off guard.
They might just try to fight after the exorcism's out, even if they've gotten a Roche already.
They're going to go out. The song is there. It interrupts one, and they can look for more. They've got 2 caught here, and they do spot them with the vision. They pull back in immediately, that Legion Commander, but the turnaround, the ulti coming in as well from Lanham. It's not going to be good enough, though. And as they turn to fight, Paparazzi takes down one with the BKB. You can't go on the DP. X-Nova will die, too. So they pick up a couple, but it's not the Aegis.
It was a great zoning coil coming out from Ori. He got it on the Jakiro that was trying to walk in to set up that ice
It was
path.
the follow-up, right?
It was, yeah, and he got that shut down. That gave Vici Gaming the space to follow through and get these 2 picks, and they're going to lead right into this tier 1 mid, which is, you know, exactly what they need.
This engagement was heavily favored towards Vici despite them losing the Aegis. They can't fight into the sleep plus Death Prophet ulti, and as I mentioned, they just wait for that Death Prophet ulti to go out, and like you said, that Puck shutting off the follow-up into the follow-up ice path after the song is oddly enough the 5-position Jakiro most important target for the Puck to go on with that coil.
I believe that coil did come out of the Monkey King as well, so he couldn't quite get into the fight as fast as he wanted to.
Did he not see this courier?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
He pings it. It's like one of those like, wait, what? That's not an actual courier.
BKB done for the Luna now as well. We've got the full pipe finish on the Naga Siren, and Yules for the Puck as well. And with the Monkey King Aegis, what do they look to try and get with this one across the map now? Or do you think it's just a farming one?
They just wait for their ultimates. It makes it so Monkey King can play more aggressively on the map, and then in team fights also. But I think it doesn't really change the way they want to play. It just gives them a little room for error, and they're just going to wait for their ultimates, and they're going to walk down a lane or smoke for it. Or they could wait for Ame's BKB, which is quite close. I mean, it's 1,600 gold off, but he has a Battle Fury, so he'll get it pretty fast.
He is farming up this double-stacked Ancients. He can clear the jungle faster than the Anti-Mage at this point with that Battle Fury build.
Anti-Mage in 2018.
Faster than an Anti-Mage in 2016.
Okay.
I think at this point right now in a lot of pubs, you're not seeing Anti-Mage with Battle Fury even.
No, very rarely. I mean, if that hero comes out,
I see them with Brown Boots, Ring of Health, and they're losing their Ancient.
Yeah, exactly. The classic. Well, as you said, walk down a lane. LGD know what they need to do to win it, and now they're going to go for the mid lane afterwards, after the first fortification comes out.
And what Ori's doing now could have been done at like 12 minutes into the game, but instead, because he was so slowed down, it's taken this long to get there, and you're seeing it in the map impact. But they are effectively coming back slowly but surely on the side of Vici, because they are farming on the heroes that matter.
The net worth lead only being 3K, 2K now at this point for LGD after those bounty runes picked up by Ori. That's such a significant
That's
swing.
actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
I did
Just
not
have the
expect
net
that
worth
much of a
lead by
change.
picking up 2 bounties. There are still the 2 bounties top, though.
And they can, you know, they'll probably get those on their way out as well.
Ori might be looking for something. They see Monkey King.
Monkey King is far away from the rest of his team, and with the tree,
No
he's trying
BKB.
to run.
He's dead twice.
I
Oh, no,
Alright.
Naga sleep is coming. They have to be careful. Oh,
Alright,
just ult on
Dre's
Luna.
earned
Just ult.
this.
Just ult.
Can they make it happen in time? They do
Nice.
ult, and he's just gone. And now FY also going to fall down because the BKB coming out. Vici Gaming almost making it work. They even dropped the golem on him.
Sorry if
Wow.
I sound biased, but I've been like 0 for 7 on my last casts, and Vici Gaming pulling it back for me here. And Ame just playing a little too aggressively. He can only play like that if his team is close enough to back him up. I love the preemptive BKB from the Luna saying, if they don't sleep, then I kill them anyway. But if they do sleep and I don't BKB, that's just going to be a Monkey King that was #1 net worth in the game, and suddenly Paparazzi has overtaken him.
Look at this net worth graph, just the change in it over the past couple of minutes. Like you said, some of that's the bounty runes, but some of it's taking bad fights that you don't need to. Maybe you could argue also that like giving up that Roshan, or rather taking the Roshan, led to them losing a couple of these towers around the map because they had lost some heroes, then they lose map control.
Yeah, those towers are way more important to Vici Gaming than the Roshan was to LGD. So I think that was more like something that LGD was right to force, but I think Vici Gaming just played it correctly. They didn't actually try to contest the Rosh. They said, we know we can't take this fight when the Exorcism's on, so let's just wait it out. And I mean, the team fight from both teams is incredibly scary. So this is just one of those games at this point that it's just going to come down to execution of team fights, as we've seen time and time again in this tournament. Who can push their buttons better?
Sounds like League right now.
Oh no, don't go there. Please, no. Yeah, I think some of it also has to do with the vision that you're going to gain, and there's a couple of vision heroes, like sort of ET. I guess that Monkey King would be the best one for LGD, but as we saw there, if you put your Monkey King out of position, might not matter.
They have
to be
BKB
fair,
done on Legion, too.
That Aegis was just going to be such a big benefit. The Ame's sort of biggest flaw is he can get chewed through by this Vici Gaming lineup if he gets caught out. But had they grouped up, they did have the Exorcism up, they had the sleep up, they were ready to walk down this lane like Brian was saying earlier. But he just double tree dance, just used the dance into the leap right into the opposing team, and I guess he expected to have the backup, or he didn't think there were going to be 4 heroes camped on that high ground. But
Would you say he did a little dance?
he did a little dance, yeah, he did. He made a little love, but he did not get down tonight. That's the sad part.
He went down tonight.
Oh, he
Danced
well
into the
said.
grave.
Well said.
Yeah,
sir.
there you
Well
go,
said.
there you go. And the Puck Ags is actually coming out in about 700 gold. Huge deal for the Death Prophet as well as the Monkey King. More importantly, with the Death Prophet, you just coil her after she's ulted, and then you just run.
Yeah.
Because that's effectively like a trade you're very happy to take. Puck Coil is way lower cooldown. It's only 65 seconds compared to the over 2-minute long cooldown on the Death Prophet ulti.
So this feels like it could be one of those game-deciding fights as well. Oh no, yeah, Vici realized they don't actually
They
want to
do
do
not.
that
They
right
are
now.
not strong enough to push
Yeah.
into them. Thank God they don't have that false insecurity where we just won. We just
Yeah.
had 2 good things happen. Let's decide to push the enemy team's base.
So the scary thing too is that you do have the Ame BKB, and you mentioned the Puck Ags going on. I do still think though that if Vici go onto this Monkey King and he gets his BKB off, they can't really kill him yet. I don't think that Luna has that much right-click damage.
I'm actually going to use this to the most effectiveness I've so far this tournament. They have to do the tangle dangle on the side of Vici
Okay.
Gaming. If they
All
just
right.
commit to a fight, LGD is quite scary. They have to let LGD dangle them in.
Yeah.
Tangle until they force the ultimates from LGD, like the counter initiation, Monkey King ult, or the DP ult, and then they have to disassemble and dangle and just break.
You know
Okay.
what?
They have to. They
This
have
is
to.
where it breaks down a little bit.
Yeah, I've lost my train of thought, but they basically have to force out the defensive ultimates from LGD and then disengage,
That
such
sounds
that
so
they
much
can then
cleaner.
such that then they can later tangle dangle again when LGD does not have the ults.
That's true. And you see this Monkey King is going for the MKB already. He's planning on it, and Luna has this butterfly queued up. I'm curious as to whether they will show either of these builds going into it, maybe adapt to each other. But I feel like Luna's going to be on the losing end of that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think fights can go either way. The thing is, I just look at Vici's lineup, and it looks easier for them to execute because the way that LGD wins fights is not the lasso. It's because of the Purge from Legion. It's the Jakiro Ice Path on top of the Naga Sleep. And now that they have BKBs on the side of Vici, and Puck's like farmed enough that he's not just going to die in these fights. And they also have 2 supports that sit way in the back. I think the only way that LGD will win fights is if they get Song into Ice Path on the 2 supports of Vici.
Puck did also pick up this Ags, so now the BKBs out on Monkey King and DP are going to be, you know, not quite as effective. That snap was still an incredibly long stun duration. It is, what is it?
4.5 seconds.
Yeah.
4.5 seconds of
That
stun.
ain't no joke. Well,
and those are the 2 heroes that you want mobile. You want this DP to be able to use their Exorcism, run in, deal all of this damage. Monkey King needs to move around or he's just going to get blown up, and now this Puck has an answer for it.
LGD move in towards mid. They force back all of Vici to their base since they realized if they didn't, DP was just going to ulti and take their tier 3 towers. So Vici now back, gets a little bit of map control for LGD, and they're going to try and push out these side lanes with the Naga Siren.
Looks like VG is smoked up behind Paparazzi. They're going to lurk down mid. They're going to dangle a little bit here.
Hey.
See what they can catch.
Hey, that was better than my entire spiel I gave. That took you like 2 seconds.
It's okay. We're working on it. We're working on it.
It'll get there.
Improvise, adapt, overcome. You know, in the words of Bear Grylls, the famous Dota 2 player.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Did
have
you
to
do
look that
anything
one
else? I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
No.
It's some weird like cityscape stuff, but nobody talks about that anymore.
Okay, gotcha. We got 2 seconds until Roche respawns. Monkey King finishes the Monkey King bar, and we do also have, like we're talking about, that butterfly on Luna. So I don't know, both teams getting into their items. It does really feel like it's just going to come down to who hit those buttons better, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I just think it's easier for VG, but at the same time, this game can easily go either direction.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at these drafts, I think if it comes down to it, if you have like 6 slots versus 6 slots, you know, it goes mega late game. I think VG Gaming does take it as long as they don't, you know, throw horribly. So
just the way their lineup naturally counters LGD's in terms of items as well as just heroes. Like the Legion Commander removes the Bat Rider's effectiveness in fights. The Puck Ags removes the BKBs.
Jump forward. They get it in. They're able to find him, but the Sleep is going to try and turn this one. The Earth Splitter down. He's actually losing this fight 11 against the Monkey King and keeping the rest of them separated. Ori does manage to get the coil down in time, gets himself out of there as well.
Run.
And now they run. Get away.
I think that was just a far too aggressive duel coming out from Chalice there. It was just not, or sorry, 11 there. It was just not.
That was a
It
6
wasn't very
sleep,
well
though. That was a
thought
6
through. It was
sleep by
incredible.
FY.
Oh, it was. There was no hesitation whatsoever. He saw the
don't have
LC
sleep
come
now,
in,
though.
immediately slept. But I mean, they're going to get this Roche. They're gonna
No,
be
they're
one.
not. I don't think they are.
It's
This Exorcism is going to be out. They have no
don't have
Monkey King
sleep.
ult. Don't let them have this.
Are they really giving it away? Maybe just waiting for the full ulti to wear off. FY finds the net right there onto Legion Commander, but nobody walking in.
Wow.
They do manage to get the sleep, so Cheese still sitting in there, but Aegis has already been picked up, and now
There is another duel up on 11, but he's going to have to back out of here.
Oh, God. Paparazzi, he managed to find a 2-person stun there as well with Ame trying to chase down Ori. Can they find the kill? The Fatal Bot, though, with the Glaives, is doing so much damage. They take down one already. That's just the Aegis, though, and now they turn on to Ori, almost getting the kill with the Spirit Vessel. It might be enough to get that finish.
Puck actually goes down to Naga on the side.
They're able to get one, but they won't find a second, it looks like.
These Roches are not worth it. They're being forced to use Exorcism to kill the Roche, and by the time they get the Roche, the Exorcism's out. And all that cost VG Gaming was a buyback. But that was a pretty even fight either way. I just think that with no ultimates, VG Gaming is stronger. So if both teams have expended all of their tangling on the first fight, then Vici has the 2 to tango a second time.
That's true.
They reload much faster.
The blackout suit on.
Yes.
They're ready. They feel it in their hips, you know?
Yes, sir.
You look like a man that knows how to move your hips. It's definitely.
Yeah,
I know you were talking to me there, so thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that for Brian, is what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
All
All
right.
right.
So
34.
Roche, was Cheese used there?
I don't believe so.
Let's find out. Yeah, Monkey King still has it. I don't know. These fights are super insane. Like, both teams have counterplays to each other, and FY is just... I mean, that first counterplay was super important. If the Monkey King goes down, like, that whole fight is lost for the side of LGD. And he has to be careful on the Legion that if he's going to BKB duel anybody that's not the Naga, Luna has to be close enough to follow him up, because not only is he dueling and being BKB during the song, but if he's dueling, he can't actually purge anybody from the lasso.
And honestly, I think that if you're LGD right now, you might think about just trying to go when all your ultimates are up again, because I don't think it gets a whole lot easier than this. You've got Cheese. 11 does not have a buyback now also, so if you can force out, or if you can kill him at the start of the fight, that is a lot of their efficiency on a Vici lineup. I don't know. I feel like they need to make something happen at this point, because it's gonna fall further and further behind.
Well, Luna has now completed Satanic, so as you're saying that, it's just starting
Spirit
to get
Vessel's
out of control.
okay if you can.
He does have Manta and BKB to remove it, but you're right, absolutely. No, I will say that I think 11 should be careful about initiating. I think he should be more of a counter initiator than anything. I think Puck should be the one that goes in first and just coils up the cores that are important, and then they can choose to take the fight on their own terms. Luna can kind of like not commit while hitting people, and then if LGD tries to go on you, you just disengage, and if they step out of position on the Naga ever, you duel with Legion. I think if he duels with Legion, it just creates... It's like really awkward for Vici to take the fight, as for all the things I mentioned. So I think they probably discussed that after that last fight. Like, okay, Legion, just chill. Don't go in first, because we need the Luna. And also, you cannot press the attack Luna when she's BKB'd. So that's important that they get that correct as well.
They probably said all that in Chinese, though, I would imagine.
That's a point that you did miss
know,
there, Brian. He does have a valid point, so you know.
If only
it's necessary.
You could see the smirk on Lyrical's face right now. He's like, I made a funny.
I love it. I'm so happy whenever I can make those stupid little jokes.
I appreciate it, man.
So 36 minutes in, and the net worth lead has swung into the favor of Vici. It's been a long time coming, but it is finally happening. And this draft that got put on the back foot at the very beginning is starting to actually work out.
Ags on Naga. So that's a pretty huge deal for resetting fights for them. But I don't know if health is how they reset these fights. Like, they need to reset the fights with abilities. So I'm looking for a DP refresher at some point in this game.
11 is about to pick up this Halberd here, so he's going to be able to duel either the DP or the Monkey King, depending on who he catches out. But the DP right through that Lincoln Sphere, and that way, you know, he can get more reliable.
They're ready for this. I think with the ET running through there, his spirit, they realize, all right, we are actually not going to take this fight. But that's one thing that they can use to set it up. And again, it's another reason why you need to initiate with the Puck now, because if you duel onto the DP, then you suddenly come out with the song from Naga. It doesn't matter, and that entire ability is going to be shut down.
I think Legion's way more important for press the attack than duel this game.
Yeah.
And so I think most importantly, if they reset the fight, as long as Legion's able to press the attack, whoever gets gone on, VG's fight should be really easy. So I really hope they talked about it in Chinese to make sure that they plan for future fights.
I was taking a sip of something. I was spit it over the monitor. Dang it.
So Puck has Lincoln's queued up. I think he needs boots of travel sometime soon, because look at the way he's playing.
He does still have the brown boots, so it looks like he's waiting to buy those bots as soon as this Lincoln's complete.
Yeah, and this is why you have to pick the Puck in the draft. You just have to pick this here. Like, that's why they also ban the Ember, because at this stage in the game becomes really awkward if you don't have a hero that can walk around the map clearing waves, because you want to play usually as 4-1. And you see that LGD is actually doing it on their support Jakiro, kind of, while Vici has the Puck doing it.
Do you like the 100 armor for Monkey King this game, or the extra rings?
I think you always take the extra rings. I think the 100 armor is like nice in theory, but the circles at this stage in the game are just not large enough.
Well, we talked about buybacks a little bit. Right now, the Legions is a minute and a half from being off cooldown, and it feels like that window, at least, that LGD could have taken advantage of is closing. Still waiting for probably the next Roche before we see any big engagements, I guess.
Another exciting hour-long plus game.
It's going to be very, very...
This is actually a tense game just because any team can win at any point.
Well,
like, both teams have the ability to end pretty much immediately if they ever take a fight with no buybacks.
You're going to see both teams are in position where they can get these picks and they can get these quick kills and just rotate right into buildings and just dominate the other team. So you can see them both grouped up in these balls of 5, walking around, hoping to avoid any poor engagements.
Yeah, I really hope this DP does not opt to go for Ether and instead goes for a refresher. I think that they have to know the dangle-tangle talk that I had talked about here.
Right.
That they need to be able to pop DP ultimate to win fights, but then if LGD or Vici disengages from the first DP ultimate, then suddenly they can't fight anymore. So I hope he redirects to that, at least after the Ether Lens at the very least, but he's already running out of slots. He already has multiple items that make use of the refresher, and I think they need to be able to take 2 fights.
The other nice part about it, though, is next Roche is going to be a refresher shard.
That is true.
So, I mean, I definitely agree that, you know, he needs to get that ability to have another ulti up, but maybe he's just feeling like, okay, as long as I can live through the first one, we're going to get Roche, and then I'll have it.
The problem with this Batrider hero is that, as an offlaner, he can't ever show in lanes because he just gets gone on and dies. And so that naturally leads to him having virtually no farm at this stage in the game. And he's basically a 4-position hero for his team, which I think it works better if you have a hero like Naga from the 4 position that naturally becomes a 3. But offlaners are some of the most impactful heroes in the game nowadays, and I don't think having an offlaner at this net worth, like he doesn't even have a BKB yet, he just dies to pretty much anything. Even like an ET stomp, he's just dead.
It definitely feels like FY is the one who's playing the offlane this game, or playing that position 3, but I don't know. I definitely agree with you. Batrider just doesn't have, it hasn't felt like he's had an impact this game.
I mean, that's what that LC pick was for. You know, he's been doing a really good job of getting a press the attack off of almost every single lasso that we've seen inside LGD. It's feeling really good. Again, I do really like this motion. I remember one of the biggest issues in closing out games that we would see in the past is just these heroes getting caught out by the enemy team or whatever. You know, with all the people I've worked with, I remember that was always the biggest flaw. So you'd hear this phrase, you know, we won the game, B5, buy a gem, B5, walk together, clear the map of enemy vision, and just make sure that you don't ever take the engagement.
Oh.
We have both teams doing that right now, ensuring that they can't, you know, make a mistake without the rest of their team right behind them.
It's super important that Paparazzi plays like this because he just has Legion behind him. So they're going to go on Paparazzi. The dangle!
They're looking for it, opening it up right at the start. Oh, the silence from DP. They catch him out. They're going to be able to keep him under fire, and Paparazzi pressing attack. They're able to turn it back around, and Satanic is more than enough. But meanwhile, Fender and Chalice have both gone down. They're going to buy back on 1. Do they buy back on a 2nd right now? So they're still trying to isolate and take down Ame, but it's not happening. So with the Exorcism Puck
coming out a mere second too late. I don't know if you saw that.
And the Legion getting silenced like in mid-animation of press the attack. And that seems like best case scenario for LGD. They have to get this Roche, but they still have Eclipse. They still have Duel. They'll have Coil coming up in 30
Ori
seconds.
blinks in.
He's crazy. This guy's crazy.
The madman.
Silence as well. He's going to get out of there with that Lincoln's.
He's just buying time. They just need to wait for this DP ultimate to expire, and then they can chase to their heart's content.
Looking for the turnaround here. Somnus decides that they don't have BKBs. That's going to be the duel onto 1, but the Eclipse comes out nonetheless. Spirit Siphon still keeping him alive there as well, and now he does have the cheese if they need to pop this one. Ame, the Eclipse is worn off, the song to turn all around, and look at the HP of all of these heroes coming back on full effect. They take down the Luna, able to kill her off. The reset of the fight was there. Don't quite get vision on the Lanham with the Yule Scepter, so he manages to escape and back towards the Roche pit. Ori gonna be stunned, gonna be killed. No buyback on any of them.
I think they were thinking the same thing I was. Wait for the DP ult to run out and take the fight, but this Naga sleep, the sustain from the Ag Scepter, he just came back full.
It's just flawless. And this is where that conversation we had earlier, where conceptually, you know, Vici Gaming has the lead, but LGD is just on point with every move. It seems like they're one entity, you know, like every play that they've made has been just flawless timing. There's not a single miscommunication, it seems.
They didn't even use the cheese in that fight.
I feel like FY is a decent player.
He's really good at Dota.
Like what, tier 3, tier 4?
Oh no, and now they caught the Legion as well. No way to stop this one. He is going to go down.
He has buyback, but that doesn't matter at this stage.
I mean, Vici Gaming has nothing to stop this push.
And they still have the Refresher Shard on Somnus as well, so he's going to have 2 ultis in this one if he wants to in about 24 more seconds, but they're going to take the tier 3 tower first, and LGD storming forward in this game number 1 have retaken control.
They just have too much health to go through on LGD. They have not only all the health that they have, all these tanky items, but they also have the Naga effectively 70% HP heal on everyone.
Absolutely insane. Monkey King with this Scotty up is just unkillable, it seems.
Now he has a butterfly too on top of everything else, and 11 looking to try and see if they can take them down at least a little bit, but the Exorcism is chewing through these buildings, and we said cheese is still there and online for Somnus. They're looking for an opening here possibly. Paparazzi has Eclipse in 18 seconds. But the stun, they got him caught. They pull him back in. Good press the attack. The coil as well. It separates onto 2 of them now. They take down 1. Can they find themselves a second? Not bad, but can they turn this fight fully? Ame is back on top of them. And he's going to come out with the ulti now. The double rings, but nobody is inside of it really. So
disengage. They have to on the side of Vici.
Ori is dead actually. He stepped too far forward and doesn't have a buyback now. 90 seconds on the sideline.
They have a second ult coming out from DP if he so chooses. Yep, he refresher shards immediately. Go again, round 2.
Breaking the Lincolns, jumping forward for the stun. The sleep comes out, though. He's not living through it, though.
Wow.
They just blow him up. And
The
now the sleep's
balls.
about to wear off.
To just go in, no hesitation on 11, catch him. He had to swap the TP out of his backpack.
Oh, and now he's going down. Ame is here. I don't think he can turn this, though. And instead, he gets slept as well. Gem is going to hide off in the trees, so they might still be able to get this one, but it's a scary proposition, and yeah, they're just going to head home. So just when it's looking good, they suddenly lose everybody.
That's the effect of Batrider having 8,000 net worth. He just dies immediately after trying to get that lasso off. 11 on point. Ame just gets a solo kill on the Warlock. But is he in trouble? He has to BKB and walk away.
I think he's out of there.
Yeah, he's fine. I don't know if that's actually worth the BKB charge, but it creates a lot of space. Landon spent the time chasing after him. They might collapse on this, but the puck is their primary source of reach, and they don't have it, so.
Jakiro is here as well if they want to try and turn this.
I like how this Legion has a 46-minute Quelling Blade against the Monkey King. It actually is really important. If you ever catch him, he just dies.
Does it pierce through BKB? The stun?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
If you get cut the tree, you will get disabled.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Wow, well, 20 to 22, a little bit of a thriller so far as it's suddenly back to about even in experience, still 6,000 gold lead. I mean, they've used the refresher shard now. DP has gone for the full Aeon Disc. How do you feel about the state of the game as it stands?
Once DP gets refresher shard, refresher orb, I don't know how LGD can lose fights, because now that he has the Aeon Disc, that dual play won't work anymore. And if he has 2 ultis, they have to kill him immediately, and if they can't kill him immediately, so I think it's a matter of Vici has to establish some sort of has to win a team fight before that refresher orb for DP comes out. That's kind of the timer of this game, despite how farmed Luna is. Luna will have buyback for the rest of the game. He didn't have it last time around, so they lost like a lane of Rax and the Roshan, and that's super important. He actually took the Eclipse and mini stun on Luna, which is odd, I think, because he doesn't have an Ags.
I wonder if he's going to go a late game Ags.
Actually, I guess it disables Naga from using abilities if he gets caught by the Eclipse.
Yeah.
Like, all of Naga's cast times are too long between the beams.
Until Naga gets a BKB herself if she wants to go that.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's actually going E-Blade. I guess for the dual target, but there's a lot of magic damage on Vici as well. But I guess if you combine that with the pipe, Fenrir might just get caught.
Ooh, misses the ice path.
Okay, disengage, just run. That's good. That's exactly what the tangle dangle.
Although the turnaround, when they try and tangle dangle, the jump in, they've got the duel there as well. Aeon Disc is going to be in his inventory still, and the heal coming in also. It's more than enough. They're taking down yet another Luna, already isolated. BKB Pop Satanic is there as well, trying to outrange her, so that way they're still going to be able to find the damage, and she can't lifesteal off of it. Great play as they've also found themselves Fenrir. He is going to drop the Golem, just marking the grave, but not for that long because it dies too. And down bottom, Lanham going to TP away. Looks like he does get out of there.
Ori actually spent all that time cutting creeps, so they have no creeps. Except for mid lane. I think Puck needs to bolt it to that mid lane. Kill
that
those
song
creeps.
timing was just perfect, that fight. Aeon Disc was never even popped on Death Prophet. That duel was just null and void. And
we need to kill these creeps mid. They have 15 seconds to take buildings since these creeps made it to base.
They don't have...
no Legion save.
They don't have DP ulti. Oh, jump forward. They've got one. This is Ame. If he dies right here, dieback would be tragic, and Paparazzi is going to fall. And with that, LGD's victory almost assured.
And my flawless record
they're
continues.
just going right for tier 4s. And again, me and Brian, predictions on point.
Hey, man, it happens.
It's not over yet, though, you know. So we might be either right or right, depending on which way this goes.
50-50 chance.
LGD just hitting those buildings, and Ori, I mean, it's so impossible to try and make this happen. They still are holding on to that song. They have the E-Blade also. Stomp interrupted by the silence. They got the ice path down and just playing with their food at this point as they take them down one by one. And Gonna ulti on top of their faces, while songing into their fountain, and soon to be GG called in this one.
There it is.
LGD take game number 1 of the lower bracket finals.
The problem is they did the dangling, but you're supposed to force out the DB ultimate and then not tangle.
Yeah.
And they chose, and that Naga Ags, I doubted it a little bit because I didn't think they would necessarily like win the fight by virtue of healing people and then go. I thought they just needed to win in the DP ult. But what they did, they used the Naga Ags as a way to make DP not die in duel.
Yeah, exactly. And you saw it. They messed it up the one time, but that was because they already got a lot of the damage off. The BKB wasn't used by DP. It just wasn't enough heal to go through that. But when he got that BKB off and the song came out just as duel started, like I said, the Aeon disc was never even popped. He wasn't even under like a threat that entire fight, and they were just able to do damage elsewhere.
Does it affect when the BKB is popped for DP? Does it still affect DP? That's one thing that, because I thought that I saw her like in BKB and being dueled, and then like she wasn't getting the healing.
No, you still get the healing.
Okay,
yeah, I think she was probably like taking the equivalent amount of damage.
Or maybe a spirit vessel was on her or something like that could have been too.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things where when you have this DP hero, it just creates this vacuum around her where you have to either kill her or you have to get out because the ghosts are just way too much free damage. And what I mean by free is the DP can just run around while it's happening, and no hero in the game of Dota 2 can tank that damage. And I think that early game pace set by the mid lane was massively impactful this game, and yet Vici made a lot of good plays to come back. And at that point, they were just on that because of the early game. They had that situation where if we mess up one or two big times, this game gets out of control, and this DP hero is pretty good.
Like you were saying, I think the Vici Gaming game plan after they picked up that Puck Ags was to back off and get a coil out on Somnus or onto Ame and disengage and then reset and go back in on these fights. But it seemed like with the Naga songs and even the lassos, while they weren't always effective because LC would get the purge off, Vici Gaming just never had the opportunity to take the fight that they wanted. They were constantly just getting outplayed.
The one major comment I want to make, I didn't even notice it in the middle of the game, but against these Death Prophet Monkey King heroes, I have to imagine Force Staff is an incredibly valuable item to disengage from these ultimates and Spirit Siphons, and they didn't have a single Force Staff on the side of Vici Gaming. And that's just a situation where, now that I look back on it, I don't know how they dangle and then avoid the tangle.
Damn it.
I don't know how they do that.
I mean, now that we're looking at it, Vici Gaming didn't really have any teamfight items. It seems like LGD has this pipe. They have this. I mean, Spirit Vessel was out on both sides, so that counts. There was a Force Staff out on Chalice. There's a Shiva's Guard. There's
even just a single Force Staff makes it so that when Luna gets caught like she did, you just Force Staff her over the cliff and you disengage. But instead, they feel pressured to go back in, force the fight. And I don't know. Those are the type of things that it's hard to see in the middle of the game. And none of their heroes are like, that's a Force Staff hero. Let's build it. But because Luna's like the hard one, so she's not going to build anything other than items that just make her stronger. I feel like that's a little bit of a mistake, probably on Lanham that game, because nobody else is building a Force Staff.
Sometimes you have to force those purchases, though.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't know.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, sounds good.
That's what I was looking for right there.
That's what you're looking for.
This is what I needed.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Good game. That's an exciting game one.
That was great.
That was good Dota. We like that. Chinese Dota is always exciting nowadays.
No Medusa?
No Medusa?
No Medusa. Going into game 2, let's look to make sure there is no Medusa. Stay tuned. More from the MDL lower bracket finals right after this.